Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Johnny TCG video. I'm Johnny TCG. I'm happy to see you here today. Today, we're talking about Boa Hancock from OP07. I did a video on her pretty recently, folks. You may have seen it, you may have watched it, you may have enjoyed it. But I'm doing another video on her because Jinbei got banned in the most recent ban list, and RIP Jinbei. Jinbei did not feel broken in this deck, so it stinks that we had to lose Jinbei as well. But I made a new list, only changing a couple cards to work around this ban. I don't think Boa needed a complete makeover redesign, and I think she is still a really strong deck. I can't wait to show her off today and talk about the changes I've made. Before we get into the deck list, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment if you feel so inclined. It helps the channel out. I appreciate it a ton. And with that, let's talk about what I changed for this deck list. For the most part, I kept this list the same. I'm not really trying to reinvent Boa. I just wanted to find a way to replace the Jinbei. There's no card that does what Jinbei does, and so I can't really go one-for-one replacements, but I can fill up those open slots and see what we can find. The 4 cards that we added to replace Jinbei were 2 OP07 Boa Hancocks, and then of course 2 of the starter deck 12 Charlotte Puddings. We'll start with Charlotte Pudding, a 2-cost 2000 power character with 2k counter. The 2k counter is very nice. Jinbei did have 1000 counter on him, so it is nice to replace the Jinbeis with some counter. Charlotte Pudding has the activate main that lets you just send her back to your hand, which is awesome with this deck because you can trigger your leader ability just from doing that. If you really have no plays, if you're really down bad, you can just throw her on the field for 2 Dawn, bounce her back to your hand, draw a card off leader ability, and yeah, 2 Dawn for a card draw isn't too bad. Not an ideal situation for the most part, but there are some times where it could come in handy. At the end of the day, it can also just be used as a 2k. I like this in this deck. I think it's an easy 2 of, not too controversial in my opinion. Next, we're running 2 of the OP07 6-cost 8000 power Boa Hancock. I absolutely love this card in this deck. Some games it feels better than others, but when it feels good, wow, does it feel good, especially in like a Lim matchup where you can throw this down to prevent their Zoro from attacking. Ooh, chef's kiss, that's amazing. Her ability is on play. You may prevent one of your opponent's characters from attacking next turn unless their name is Monkey D. Luffy. That second part of your effect is what is going to trigger your leader ability to allow you to draw a card. You can bottom deck your own character, you can bottom deck one of your opponents. I love playing this down in combination with like a 3-cost Dofi blocker or even a 4-cost Law on your 10 Dawn turn. 6-cost 8000 power is a very strong stat line as well. She doesn't have the most synergy with your leader effect just because by later on in the game you're trying to bounce bigger characters and this only hits a cost 1, but you'll probably have one on the field if not your opponent, so I think she's a great addition to this deck. Not everyone runs her though, and yeah, I mean, I get it, but personally, I'm a big fan. Another card I think you should consider running in this deck is Starter Deck 3 Don Quixote do Flamingo, 7-cost 7000 power. Then on play, you pop a 7-cost character back to the owner's hand. This is really strong on curve. You're going to be able to send back whatever your opponent just played, and yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. The only thing about him, though, is 7,000 power for a 7-cost character doesn't feel amazing. Of course, we are running the Kairos, which is 7-cost 9,000 power. So much stronger. So we're going with the Kairos right now, but if you told me you ran the Dofi, I don't think that's crazy at all. I definitely think there's a good argument to be made to play him instead. If you want to hear me go much more in depth with all the cards in this deck, definitely consider watching my previous OP10 Boa list. I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a thumbnail on the screen. Check it out. You won't regret it if you're a fan of the Boa leader. Before we get into the gameplay for today, we of course have a giveaway. If you're new to the channel, in just about every single video, we do a card giveaway. Today, we're going to be giving away a custom Don card. Today is not going to be like our normal giveaways, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to be giving away a custom hangyodon Don. If you're not familiar with hangyodon, he is a part of the Hello Kitty Sanrio universe. He is my favorite character, and I think the color scheme on this Don card works great with the Boa deck or any blue deck in general. So if you want to win it, all you have to do is 1, leave a like, and 2, leave a comment. It's as simple as that. If this video gets 15 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll choose a random US-based commenter and select them and send it to you completely free. All you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is 1, leave a like, 2, leave a comment. It's that simple. And you know what is also simple? Hitting that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 1,800 by the end of the month, and with your help, I think it's possible. So with that, editor, roll the gameplay. Our first game of the day is against Red Purple Luffy. We're going to choose to go first. I think in most matchups I like to go first with this deck, but if you like going second, I don't know. I won't call you crazy. We're going to start off with the Sengoku Search. We're going to take that 1-cost Law Blocker. It's the only card we can take actually, but I'm happy to take it, especially in a matchup where they could drop some big bodies and we might need to stall the game a little bit. I think this Law Blocker could really come in handy. They'll start with 1 Don for a Nami Search, and they will get the OP10 Sanji. That is a 2k counter / blocker. Passing it back to us, I'm going to swing big with our leader just to apply some pressure on them early. 7,000, they will give us that 2k counter they just drew, and then I'll play down the 1-cost Trafalgar Law Blocker, stalling out the game a little bit. I really think it's important to pressure Red Purple Luffy early. Sometimes, depending on your curve, you can't. You just don't have the down for it. But I think it's really important to either get cards out of hand or make them start taking life. 7,000 now with their leader. We are going to counter out of that. 3 down left up. They're going to play down the Zoro, and we unfortunately do not have any great way to deal with it. We would love to see a 4-cost bounce Trafalgar Law here to bounce it back to hand, but unfortunately we cannot. I'm debating on what to play here. I could do the Crocodile and send maybe like the Nami or my own Sengoku back to hand, but that doesn't feel good. I'm going to start off with a 6,000 power swing from our leader. I think it just might be a 3-cost Dofi blocker and then a 1-cost Law play here. We're going to start with the Law and then go to Dofi, and we're going to be able to set the top or bottom of our deck. This draw is a little bit interesting. We do have some decent removal with that 6-cost Gum Gum Red Rock and that 4-cost Trafalgar Law. But overall, I don't think that's what we want. I think we want to see some bigger bodies as well. And so I'm putting it at the bottom. We do have 1 Red Rock already. Maybe putting another one at the bottom of our deck was a little bit risky. Let me know what you think about that decision in the comments below. But we did it, and we will live with that decision. They're at 6 Don. They're going to be able to swing with Zoro and get to 7. They are not going to add any Don to Zoro, so we don't even have to counter or block out of this attack, which is nice. 7 Don, though, will probably see that Eustace Captain Kid from Starter Deck 10 that I absolutely love, which is a beast in this Red Purple Luffy deck. It looks like they will not play that, though. For 3 Don, they'll play the It's to Die For event. I don't think that's the ideal play for them, but I imagine they're just in a really tough position with the cards in their hand. Or maybe they're plotting something and I just don't see the vision yet. They still have 6 Don to work with here. They'll give a Don to their leader, swing 7,000 at us. This might be another block, just simply blocking with our 1-cost Trafalgar Law Blocker. Or we'll take it and look for some answers. We get the 1-cost Kaya, which isn't really super helpful. For 4 Don, they'll play the new OP10 Tony Chopper Blocker, which is a pretty strong blocker, and they'll pass it back to us. 7 Don for us to work with. I'm thinking here maybe we go with the Kyros. We'll swing and try to get rid of the Zoro, but I don't expect they'll let it go because they could have free blocked with Tony Chopper, but they do let it go. Now we'll play down the Kyros, pop back to hand the Tony Chopper blocker, and pass it back to them. We've established this beastly 7-cost 9,000 power body that is going to be the perfect card to put pressure on our opponent. It'll also be a great card to go at their board with. I am so happy we were able to establish that pretty safely. Last turn was definitely not ideal for them. 10 Don for them to work with. They're going to start off with a 7-cost Sanji, the new Rush Sanji from OP09. Oh, I guess it's OP09. It's not really new anymore. I can't be saying that. But they'll do it. They'll be able to return Don, bring it down back using leader ability, rest my 1-cost Law Blocker. They're going to swing 4,000 into it. They gave it Don to Nami when they swung into it, just so I couldn't free block with that 3-cost Dofi blocker. That makes a ton of sense. Now they've got 2 Don left to work with, a 6k swing and a 7k swing. They'll give it Don to their leader, swing 7,000 at us. I'm going to give them the counter here just because I don't want to use my blocker, and if they swing 8,000 with Sanji after I take that hit, I would probably take that as well. 7,000 now with Sanji. I was debating on countering again, but I think that's crazy. I'll just block that, and I didn't want to take another hit. I think I would have been fine too, but I think I just kind of second-guessed myself a little bit. 9 Don for me to work with, and I think we're in an amazing position. I'm going to start off with a 9,000 power swing into the Sanji. I'm hoping, or I'm imagining, they'll give me counter to keep this alive. Yes, they'll use the Gum Gum Giant. They'll trash a Gum Gum Giant off the Gum Gum Giant, and I think that might be a misplay. Gum Gum Giant is just too strong, but maybe they just can't get rid of the other cards in their hand for whatever reason. We're going to start off with a 3-cost Doflamingo blocker to set the top of our deck and plan out what we want to do next. I really like the 6-cost Boa Hancock, and we already have one in our hand, but I'm happy to get another. I'll probably play that out on this turn as well. It'll prevent the Sanji from attacking, and then it will also bottom deck their Nami, which is great. I won't be able to swing into their leader this turn, but that's alright. I think the way we did it was awesome. We draw the Trafalgar Law bounce off of leader ability, and we'll pass it back to them. 10 down for them to work with. We could see a 10 cost Shanks here if they run it. Not every single Red Purple Luffy list runs 10 cost Shanks, but I'm a fan of it just because it's so strong. Unfortunately, even if they do play it, we will just red rock it right away, so they won't get a ton of value out of it. It won't really have a meaningful impact on the board. They'll give a Don to their leader and swing 7,000 at us. 9 down left up. This could be a Edward Newgate turn. I'm going to take this hit though. I do not want to use my blocker because I want to keep my blocker up to protect the Kairos if they did have anything that could potentially deal with it. Instead, they'll go with the 4 cost Chopper that we bounce back to hand, and then the 4 cost Bond Clay, which are both annoying cards, but luckily we have Gravity Blade Raging Tiger right on time. We can bottom deck both of those before they get any value. Now we'll start off swing 8,000 with our Boa Hancock character into their leader. They will take that hit. Now I can swing 9,000 with Kairos. Before I do that, I think I'm just going to swing 8,000 with our leader. Let me know if you think I should swing 8,000 and then 9,000, or if I should just throw it all on Kairos and then swing big into their leader, almost guaranteeing a hit potentially. They will take that 8,000 power swing too. I'm a little surprised by that. They'll counter out of this 9,000 power swing with 2 2Ks. We can pass it back to them, and I think we're in a great spot. If you let Boa get like too much tempo and then also allow them to remove your characters because they got tempo, you're going to be in for a long day, just because if your Boa doesn't have to choose between developing characters and removing them, they're just going to be unstoppable, which is the position we find ourselves in right now. I love the board we have. We've got a couple counter cards in hand, nothing crazy, and then of course we do have some Gum Red Rocks, so we're ready for any big card they drop. They're going to start off with a 6,000 power swing at our leader. I don't know what I should do here. I do want to keep that blocker up so I can protect some of my bodies. The question is, do I want to counter out of this with 2K worth of counter? I don't have a ton of counter in hand, so maybe I should just take this. I decided to counter out of it with the 2K Kaya, and I think that's a fair decision. Nothing too crazy. We're in a good spot nonetheless. If they want to clear one of my characters with Sanji, they'll have to give Don to it, which I would love for them to do, because then that means it's a smaller body that they'll be able to play out. 7,000 at our leader with their Sanji. I'm thinking here we take this hit and we end up getting the Sengoku out of life, which isn't anything special right now. That's not really going to change the course of the game. For 1 down, they've got another Nami Searcher. Looking for answers here, folks. They don't have a lot of cards in hand. They're desperate for some big bodies. They really haven't seen any yet. They will find the OP10 Sanji again, but that's not really going to do them much good here. 4 down for the Onami blocker. They get to trash 1, draw 2. Then another Nami Searcher looking for answers again. Deja vu, ladies and gentlemen. They find an Onami and they'll play that out as well. The Gravity Blade Raging Tiger would be so nice right here, but alas, we do not have one. I think we'll just swing and put pressure on their life and then drop the 6 cost Boa Hancock to freeze their 7 cost Sanji. That seems like the move to me. Let me know what you think I should do in the comments down below. The comments can sometimes see plays that I didn't see at all. We'll start off with our 8,000 power swing with our Boa Hancock character. They will block that with Onami, getting value from their Onami blockers instantly. I could bounce an Onami with Jozu, but I don't know how great that is at this current moment. I think I'd rather have the Boa Hancock's effect of freezing that Sanji to protect us even more. 9,000 now with Kairos into their life. They will block that with Onami again. Getting both of those Onamis to block was really good for them. Best case scenario, they probably thought in the back of their head I might have a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, so they're just getting rid of those Onamis, getting value from them before they are off the board. Now, I think I'm just going to swing big with my leader here, 9,000 into their leader. Let's see if they got the counter for it. If not, we're in a really good position to go for game next turn. My 9,000 power leader swing does go through, putting them at 0 life, and then we will play in 6 cost Boa Hancock to freeze their Sanji and then bottom deck one of their Namis. We are in a perfect spot, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are good to kind of declare this game as won, but you never know what could happen, so we'll see. Or I guess we won't see, they just concede. GG, that must have been tough for them. I imagine their early hands were pretty bad because even though they ramped, they weren't able to establish big bodies, and I know that's gotta feel bad, so that's just the way it goes sometimes. On to the next one. And the next one will be a game against Green Purple Lim from OP10. We're going to steal first from them. I think Lim prefers to go first, and so therefore we will steal it. We are going to mulligan that first hand, and I'm not sure how I feel about the second hand, to be honest. We do have Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, which can be really strong in this matchup. I love that for us. But besides that, it's going to be a minute before we can play anything. We play on the Kaya turn 1, nothing to play on turn 2 really. I don't think Buggy's the move, so I guess we should just swing big with our leader. Maybe I should play Buggy because we can bounce it back to our hand hopefully eventually, but yeah, I mean, Buggy's not that great of a card to play out just because you don't get to set those cards at the bottom of your deck if you don't like them. That's kind of a big deal, folks. We'll start off with the 7,000 power swing, which I imagine they'll take. If they want to give me 2 cards from hand, though, be my guest. Then we'll play down the Buggy. Finding that 4-cost Law is pretty helpful right now, so we are okay with how that hand turned out. And as we go into the late game, we do have our 10-cost Kaido and a 6-cost Gum Gum Red Rock that are going to be so important, especially if they ramp up and play like a 9-cost Sanji. That's getting hit with the Red Rock, no doubt. They're going to start with a 6,000 power swing at us, and we are definitely going to take this. I see no reason not to. We don't even have the counter in hand if we wanted to. So we'll take that. We get the 1-cost Sengoku. That's not really that helpful right now, but it is what it is. Using leader ability, they cheat out a 5-cost Sabo. Wow, I wish it was a 3-cost character so I could bounce it back with Law. Unfortunately, though, it's not. I have to make the decision here of if I should just swing really big into that Sabo, like throw all my Don onto my leader and swing into it, or if I should play that bounce Law and just get back the 2/2Ks I have on the field. I decide I'm going to go with the Law strategy. I'm going to swing 6,000 into the Sabo, which they will give us a 1K counter. Then I'll play Bounce Law, send both of those cards on my field, Kaya and Buggy, back to my hand, and then pass it back to them. Because I have too many cards in my hand, I do not get to use leader ability. That play was probably questionable. Let me know in the comments down below if you didn't like that play. I will not take offense to that. I would love to hear your feedback. 6,000 at us now with their leader starting off with 6 down left for them to work with. We'll probably see a 3-cost character and then leader ability from them. I think we're okay to counter this with Buggy or Kaya. We decide to give them the Buggy. That is perfectly fine. They will probably play down 2 characters before swinging with Sabo. They're going to go with the Rosinante blocker and the Doflamingo blocker. Strong turn for them if I say so myself. They'll swing with Sabo, draw a card, then set up the Don Quixote Doflamingo as active. We're going to start our turn by swinging 5,000 into the Rosinante. I don't necessarily know if that was the right play. They'll 2K counter out of that, which is good news for us, but they also could have free blocked with the Doflamingo blocker, and if they did that, that would have been kind of a waste of a leader swing. Now we'll swing 5,000 with our Trafalgar Law after Gravity Blade Raging Tigering the Doflamingo and the Sabo to the bottom of their deck. I don't think I would have been crazy there to play the 7-drop Kairos either, and maybe bottom decking that Sabo or the Doflamingo blocker. Let me know if you would have done the same thing in the comments, folks, but I think I couldn't really go wrong either way there. I mean, Gravity Blade Raging Tiger is just so good in this matchup. I hope that I find another one because I imagine they're going to play out more smaller bodies in the game. They could drop a big body right here, which would be a little bit annoying, but we do have the answer for it. At least one of them. We have the Gum Gum Red Rock, but only one. Hopefully we can find another. They'll do 6,000 now at our Trafalgar Law with their leader. We will give them the 2K. We want to keep as many bodies on the board so we can fight back against their board and into their life. They do have that 9-cost Zoro, but we are not even going to Red Rocket this turn. I think we should just go with the 6-cost Boa Hancock because we'll be able to prevent it from attacking, which is basically just as good, and it establishes us a very nice sized body that of course will need to fight back into their life and into their board. 9 Don for us to work with. I'm thinking here I am alright to use Sengoku to do a little search. I'm going to take the 2K Crocodile, but that 3-cost Dofi blocker was tempting as well. Now we can give the remaining Don to our leader, swing 7,000 at their leader. They will block with Rosinante, and then for 6 Don, we'll just play out that Boa, freezing their Zoro, bottom decking our Sengoku, and drawing the Kairos off of our leader ability. I don't think Kairos helps us here at all, but that's just the way it goes, folks. 10 Don for them to work with. We could see another big body. Another Zoro would be pretty crazy, but of course we do have the answer for it. We can put a lot of pressure on their life this next turn. For 9 Don, we'll see them play the Audio, 9 Don Audio from OP10. They'll throw that down on their leader and swing into our Trafalgar Law. We will counter out of this, which might be a little bit crazy, but we want to swing back into their life with our Trafalgar Law. And of course, we also want to keep our hand size low so that we can use our leader ability. Now, we're in a weird-ish spot. I mean, I don't think we're in a bad spot at all. We can Red Rock either their Zoro or their Audio, and then we can also play down that 1-cost Trafalgar Law blocker, then throw the rest of the Don on our leader or our character Boa and swing big into their life. We'll start off with a 5,000 power swing swing from our Law character, and they will take that. That is good news for us. We are happy with that for sure. Now we'll give 2 Don to our leader, swing 7,000 into their life. They do have Audio's ability, which allows them to rest the Don and then give plus 2,000 power to a leader or a character. They will use Audio's ability, going up to 7,000, then giving us a 1k counter with the Nico Robin. 8 Don left up. I'm going to give 1 Don to Boa and swing 9,000 now into their leader. Hopefully we can put them to 0, and I think this will just be game. To my surprise, they do have the counter for that, and that really catches me off guard. No worries though, we'll use Red Rock to bottom deck their Zoro, play down the 1-cost Law blocker, and now we are still in a decent spot. We don't really have any way to deal with the Audio next turn, but next turn might just be focused on going at their life. 3 cards in hand right now. 1 life card. They are not in a super strong position. We do have 4 life cards still. We have a blocker on board. We have 2 characters. I'm liking the place that we're at right now. They're going to start by throwing 4 Don on Audio, swing 13,000 into the Boa Hancock. This is a easy block with Law. Then they still have 5 Don up or 6 Don left up. What are they going to do? Do they have anything really? At this point, they might just concede, and they concede. GG's. Up now, we've got a game against the infamous Blackbeard from OP10, one of the most annoying leaders in the game, if I say so myself. I think we have a good matchup into it, though. We've got a ton of removal that doesn't rely on play. Of course, we do have a ton of on-play removal, but we do have our Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. We do have our Gum Gum Red Rocks. Those will surely be helpful in the game, right? Please tell me they will be. The question is, will we be able to find them? No 3 Don play for us. We'll just give 3 Don to Boa and swing 8,000 into their life. They'll take that, no surprises there, and we'll pass it to them with 4 Don. They'll start their turn with a 5,000 power swing into our life. I want to keep the Charlotte Pudding in my hand, but at the same time, I do want to counter out of this as well, so I think I'll just have to let the Charlotte Pudding go. Then for 4 Don, they will play out the Jesus Burgess and then pass to me. It's actually insane how dead my hand is. A 4-cost Law would go so hard right now to get that Jesus Burgess off the board, but alas, I've got literally no plays besides the 2-cost Charlotte Pudding, which would not do much for me. I'll just swing 10,000 into their life, and wow, does this feel so bad. I also regret countering with that Charlotte Pudding because look how many cards they have in their hand, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolutely ridiculous. They're going to start their turn with a Lafitte search, drawing a This Is My Age, which they will then play. They get another Lafitte. They do another This Is My Age search. They get Assure You. Oh my god, they've got another Lafitte. This is insane, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is going to be hard for me to bounce back from. Hopefully they don't use leader ability here. They haven't used leader ability all game, and I feel like that's been perfect for them because I haven't had any cards to take advantage of that. You know, no 4-cost bounce Law, not even a Crocodile, but yeah, this feels bad, folks. Nothing I could do, really, unless there's a play that I'm not seeing. They're going to swing big into me with Jesus Burgess, and I will take that. Then they're going to use leader ability to prevent me from taking advantage of a nice Kyros play. A Kyros would go so hard here, being able to return the Jesus Burgess back to their hand, or even a Lafitte. I would take either of them back to their hand. Just let me use his on play. We will not use his on play because we can't, but we'll still play him out just because he is a 7-cost, 9,000 power body at the end of the day that will be really strong. They'll start their turn by searching with Lafitte again, drawing a Shuryu. That is the 2k Shuryu that they will likely just use in their hand for counter. Then they'll do another Lafitte search and get a Jesus Burgess, another 4-cost Jesus Burgess. If that hits the field, it's going to be a little bit awkward. If we can find a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, it would relieve a ton of stress from us, but the question is, where are our events? I do not see any events. What the heck is going on with this shuffle? They're going to give 1 Don to their leader, swing 6,000 at us, and I think we should counter out of this because we're not going to be able to counter out of the Jesus Burgess swing. Trashing a card gets him up to 8,000, and we can't use leader ability again. This feels so bad. 6-cost Boa would go really hard here. A 7-cost Kairos would go really hard here. We're going to swing 10,000 into the Jesus Burgess, and I'm surprised that they let it go. But, I mean, they still have a ton of cards in hand. This is definitely all part of their game plan. 5,000 now at a Lafitte. That'll die too. That's good news for us. For 7 Don, we'll play another Kairos. Then we'll play 1 Don for a Law blocker. That Law blocker can get so easily removed, but you gotta throw him out, I feel like. I mean, he doesn't even have counter, so you might as well throw him out. 10 Don for them to work with. Will we start seeing the 10-drop Blackbeard hit the board? It looks like we won't, as they'll rest their Van Augur, giving -3 to one of my Kairoses. they'll likely do something to KO that Kairos based on cost. We could see a stronger here. I'm not sure what other sauce they run. They've got the Liberation, of course, to pop the Kairos. I think technically its name is Black Hole. It's wrong on the sim, I believe. Then they're going to use Stage, filter out cards, play down the 5-cost Kuzan, use Kuzan's effect to draw a card, and then play a Jesus Burgess from trash. That Jesus Burgess is now at 9,000 power. That is so strong. Then they'll give a Don to their leader, swing 6,000 at us, and I think the move here is giving them the 2k counter. Now, passing it back to us, still no events, no Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, no Red Rock. If I had a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, it would go absolutely crazy here. They still use leader ability. They have a ton of cards in their hand, so they can just keep spamming it, so I can't get any on-play effects off. And even though I won't get his on-play effect, I will play down the 10-drop Kaido and just pass my turn. I didn't swing with leader there just because I'm like kind of trying to starve him, I guess, but I don't really think that matters in hindsight because he just has so many cards in hand. I don't think it would have been a big deal. What is a big deal though is them dropping that 10-cost Blackbeard. Being able to prevent my Kaido from attacking next turn is definitely going to hurt. With all those cards in hand and all the searching they've been doing, of course they're going to be able to spam these out by the end of the game. 5,000 now, starting off with their leader. I think I should go Jozu here and counter out of this because I'm definitely going to take that Jesus Burgess hit. So I am going to counter out of it with Jozu. I'm leaving this blocker law up. I'm not sure if I'll block this Jesus Burgess swing. If they do swing with Jesus Burgess, they're going to go 9,000 at me, and I'm just going to take this, see what we can get. Still no events. This feels so bad. They didn't use leader ability here, though, which is very good news for us. I wonder if they forgot just because they have plenty of cards in their hand, or maybe they're just not too worried about it right now. I'm debating between the 6-cost Boa that will prevent the Teach from attacking and then bottom decking the Lafitte. I'm also considering the Kairos because then I'll be able to send the Jesus Burgess back to their hand. Both have their pros and cons. We'll start off with a 5,000 power swing with our leader. Wouldn't be surprised if they block this right here. They do take that, which is interesting. I'm leaning towards the 6-cost Boa Hancock here, but I do have the big brain idea of playing down the 3-cost Dofi blocker before I play down the Boa. With Boa's ability, the leader, and me bottom decking the Lafitte, I'll be able to draw a card off my deck, and hopefully I was looking for like a Gum Gum Red Rock to find, and unfortunately we do not find it. We're going to put it at the bottom of our deck just because we really need to see an event here. At least I think so. So we're gonna, that was useless basically. I guess it gets us closer to our events. We'll play down the 6-cost Boa, prevent the Teach from attacking, bottom decking the Lafitte. We do draw a Kaya, which is alright, you know, it's a 2k counter, which is good, but we are really looking for an event, and we don't swing with the Kairos just because they still had that Teach up. They're going to follow up with a second Teach. A second Teach has hit the board, ladies and gentlemen. They'll prevent my Kaido from attacking yet again, and then they'll probably swing with leader and their Jesus Burgess here. Jesus Burgess is now 10,000 power, which is absolutely ridiculous. They're going to start with a 5,000 power swing with their leader. I'm thinking we're good to counter out of this one, and then if they swing with the Jesus Burgess, we use one of our blockers so that we can create space on the board. They did use leader ability, so I cannot do any on-play effects. This turn, I'm thinking we just try to clear this Jesus Burgess, perhaps. Maybe I should have pressured life, but I mean, they've got 2 10-drop Blackbeard blockers. What the heck am I supposed to do? I'm thinking about just throwing it all on Kairos and swinging big into the Jesus Burgess, trying my best to get it off the board. It is 10,000 power, though, and with that many cards in their hand and Teach blockers up, there's a very real chance I swing big at it and it still survives. Pardon me for continuing to mess up and slipping with my mouse attaching the Don to Kairos. We're going to swing now for 19,000. Will they block? Will they counter? The moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. They will not. They'll just let it go, which is good news for us, I guess. We'll swing 5,000 at them just to see if we can get a hit off, but of course they will free block with one of their Teaches. Now, we are in a really bad spot. We do have a blocker at least and 3 2Ks in our hand, but I do not see how we can come back and win this game. It is crazy, crazy, crazy that we did not get any Red Rocks, no Gravity Blade Raging Tigers, not even a Hound's Blaze. What the heck? 10 down for them to work with. They are just going to rub this victory in my face, dropping another 10-drop Blackbeard. 3 Blackbeards on the board is crazy. It's one thing to have 3 Blackbeards on the board. It's another to have a hand full of cards. 5 cards, 6 cards with 3 Blackbeards on the field. I did something wrong with this game, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way this should be happening. But, I mean, I guess when my whole deck revolves around bouncing and bottom decking and I don't see the events I need for that, that's going to happen, you know? Maybe I'm just coping. Maybe it was a skill difference here, but
Yeah, rough game. They're going to swing with leader, which we will counter out of. I guess they're debating if they should swing with their 10-drop Blackbeards or not. They are going to use leader ability to prevent me from using any on-play effects. Not that I have any on-play effects that would really impact the game that much at this point. I guess a Boa could prevent one of their teaches from attacking, but that doesn't really matter. They're going to swing 12,000 with one of their teaches, which I'm thinking we will block out of with that 3-cost Doflamingo, and yeah, we're not in an amazing spot. That 10-cost Kaido not being able to get his on-play ability or ever attacking with him is just ridiculous. Maybe I could have went smaller there, but and instead of playing 10-drop, maybe playing the 7-cost Kairos, but it is what it is. Now, we're just going to try to swing big, I guess. We're going to throw a bunch of Don on our Kairos and then swing into one of their rested teaches. 16 into 12, 5 cards in hand. I could believe it if they counter out of this. Even if they don't counter out of this, they're going to have leader swing next turn. They're going to have 2 10-cost teaches to swing with. It is definitely over. We do have 8k of counter in our hand, which is pretty ridiculous, but in a situation like this, I do not think it is going to be enough. Now we'll just swing 5,000 into their leader. Not that it means much again. They can counter this or block it pardon me, with teach. We'll swing 8,000 into their life now, which they'll take, but it doesn't make a difference. Jeez, this feels bad, but it is what it is. Games like these happen. We finally get a Houndblaze, and that is not going to do us any good right now. 12,000 with their first teach, 12,000 with their second teach. I hit them with the good game just because it is over. We can actually counter out of that, but it doesn't even matter. GG.
Ladies and gentlemen, those are the games I got for you today. That Blackbeard matchup was infuriating. I literally could not find any of my removal cards, my events. Where were my events? I think my opponent cheated somehow, rigged my deck, blah, 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 blah. What are the chances I find literally none of my event cards? That felt so bad, but still a good game nonetheless. I'm really enjoying this Boa deck. I think you will too. If you've made it this far in this video, you've got to be a Boa fan, or maybe you just like hearing me yap. And so thank you for sticking around this long into the video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day. This has been Johnny TCG, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.